Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. My name is Elena Hood. I'm the director of the Intertribal Resource Center here at UC San Diego. I'm also representing the Palma Band of Luiseño Indians, the Absentee Shawnee Tribe of Oklahoma, and Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. We're really glad that you could join us here today. We have a really great agenda planned for you. You're going to meet a lot of our friends and learn a lot about the different resources and opportunities that we have available for Native American students and about UCSD in general. A couple of quick housekeeping things. I just want to make everyone aware that we are recording this session. That way we can share it with other friends who might not be able to make it with us today. I also want to make you aware that you have a Q&A session or feature in the webinar. So if at any point during our presentations you have a question or a comment or concern or complaint, feel free to use that Q&A section to make your comment there. It will be anonymous. You do not have to give any kind of personal information there. Definitely, don't drop your social security number or anything like that in there. So with that, I'd like to formally begin our webinar with a land acknowledgement. UC San Diego community holds great respect for the land and the original people of the area where our campus is located. The university was built on the unceded territory of the Kumeyaay Nation. Today, the Kumeyaay people continue to maintain their political sovereignty and cultural traditions as vital members of the San Diego community. We acknowledge their tremendous contributions to our region, and we thank them for their stewardship. So as I said, we've put together a really great agenda. You're going to be hearing from our admissions office first, and then have a chance to meet some of our current students, some recent alum, and some faculty. And first, I'm going to introduce to you our friends from the admissions office, Roberta Camarena and Timothy Borch, and I will turn it over to them. Roberta, I think you're on mute.
Our friend Roberta is muted.
Oh, let me just take a moment to say, yes, this is the Zoom world. So, and we're human. So there might be a few errors along the way, but we know everybody will understand.
Thank you. I really appreciate your being here. I want to take the time to acknowledge your presence and introduce myself. My name is Roberta Camarena. I'm Assistant Director of Admissions, Diversity Recruitment, and also an alum of UC San Diego. I'll allow my colleague to introduce himself.
Thank you, Roberta. My name is Timothy Borch. I work as the Assistant Director for Transfer Student Services, also housed in the Office of Admissions. Absolutely delighted to be with you tonight.
It seems like I'm lagging a little bit, but I just want to go ahead and point out that we have 140 majors across UC San Diego, and they're subdivided into 8 different disciplines. Of those majors, we have 8 capped majors and 6 capped majors. And what that means is it basically means that if you are opting to select one of the majors that are listed here in blue, we recommend that you select an alternative as well on the application. And apart from being subdivided into 8 different, into 140 majors, we also are divided into 7 different colleges across UC San Diego. And the way that we like to see our colleges is we like to think of them as communities or neighborhoods. If a student is at a particular college, they're going to take the requirements to graduate for that particular college, but they can still choose any major that they want over the 140 different majors that we offer at UC San Diego. I myself majored in biochemistry, cell biology, and attended Third College. My son, a Reval student, is a math major. So really you can choose any combination of major and college. If you opt to live on campus, you're going to live in the college that you've selected, that you're placed in. And we have approximately 30,800 students across UC San Diego, of which 66% have been admitted as a first-year student and 34% have been admitted as a transfer student. Our transfer population is very important to us. And so we've made a promise to California that we would admit a 1-to-2 ratio. For every 2 first-year students that we admit 1 transfer student. And we usually have about a 50% ratio of male to female across the campus.
Well, thank you, Roberta. I'd like to talk a little bit about living on campus, which is so vital to our student population for both first year and transfers. As you can see on this slide, approximately 90% of first-year students live on campus. For transfer students, the number is a little bit less, it's 40%, but still a robust number. There are dozens of restaurants and markets and food trucks and all kinds of places to eat. Now, I know we're in the COVID-19 world right now, but we do have approximately 9,000 students living on campus, and they're taking advantage of all the different eateries and dining options. And then when we're back to normal, hopefully sooner rather than later, students will have the full array of eating opportunities on campus. Our students also take advantage of the living and learning communities on campus, which means that they're housed by similar likes and interests in terms of academics, identity, or otherwise. This is a very important aspect for living on campus at UC San Diego, in addition to the convenience in the development of community. Student life at UC San Diego is one of the hallmarks of what makes us a great university. Over 600 clubs and organizations available, something for every student, especially our Native American students on campus. Student government opportunities are available, including the Greek organization, student newspaper, TV, and radio station for any student that might be interested in broadcasting or journalism. And then this year, this fall, starting in 2020, we actually made the jump to Division I, NCAA. Of course, right now, athletic events are suspended due to COVID-19, but once we get back online with athletics, whether you're a student athlete or just want to be a supporter in terms of going out to one of our athletic events and having a great time with all of our other Triton students, you can have that opportunity. In addition to that, we have a number of campus events annually. Meet the Beach is a great event that happens in the fall. Spirit Night is an event that happens during the winter quarter. And then of course the Sun God Festival, which is a huge event that happens every spring quarter. These are events that bring our student community together, whether you're part of the college, your college that Roberta had mentioned earlier, or part of the whole UC San Diego community. These events are for all of our students. San Diego abounds with attractions. So many of our students like to take advantage of the weekends and the evenings when they're not busy studying or doing research or doing internships. Our students like to get engaged on campus, but they also like to explore the local area. Some local attractions include Belmont Park, which is located in Mission Beach, which is a really fun spot for all of our students. Downtown San Diego is only about a half an hour drive, and if you're using public transportation, less than an hour. The Torrey Pines State Park is very close to the campus and offers a wide array of hiking trails and scenic view of the Pacific Ocean. The Hotel Del Coronado, which is a landmark not only in the local area, but for Southern California, and many other examples. One thing we like to point out for our students is that you're only one day away from the beach, from the desert, and from the mountains. That would be a little bit of a long road trip if you tried to squeeze in all three in one day, but needless to say, it can be done. And of course, UC San Diego is only 10 minutes from the beach. Very scenic views.
And for admissions for a first-year student, we actually look at quite a few factors. GPA, of course, is one of the factors, but not the only factor. I like to point that out. In order to look at the GPA or calculate the GPA, we look at the A through G courses, which are the subject requirements across the high school experience. And if a student took algebra or maybe language other than English in junior high that was high school level, we also will consider that with regards to the number of courses that are being used, but not to calculate the GPA. We encourage students to take advanced level courses, honors, IB, college university courses, but it's not required, of course. It just adds to the value of their academic experience. And for fall of 2021 and fall of 2022, the SAT and ACT will be optional. So if a student has a score, they can submit them if they opt to, or they can withhold them and not submit them. Just remember that optional means optional for UC San Diego. And we're going to look at all the factors with regards to admissions, your academic achievement, your rigor of the courses that you've taken, and honors courses that you've taken, honors and awards that you may have attained as a Native student, you have a very unique experience, and we want to hear about that. And one of the best ways to express yourself is through the personal insight questions. Those questions are kind of like interviews that we have, where we're not physically asking you the question, but you're providing the response to those questions for us to review. Remember that every application is looked at not only once, but twice for every student. And so we're going to try to admit you. We don't want to decline students. We want to admit them. So we're going to dig through that application, and you're the best voice to be able to provide that information to us.
Thank you, Roberta. I'd like to talk a little bit about transfer admission. So there are two paths for gaining admission at UC San Diego. The first, as Roberta mentioned, is as a first-year freshman right out of high school. The second pathway is the transfer pathway, which is a pathway that is extremely viable, especially for our Native American students. Transfer basically looks at attending a community college, and then you would come to UC San Diego your junior year. You can see on this slide, there are some very helpful tools that help support students who are interested in the transfer pathway. One is assist.org, which is a critical online resource, which is a repository which outlines all of the different courses that are transferable between UC San Diego and all the California community colleges. The IGETC curriculum it stands for the Intersegmental General Education Transfer Curriculum. This curriculum is really important because within this curriculum, students can satisfy the general breadth requirements for UC San Diego admission. And we'll get to that in a slide. I think we may have skipped that slide, but we'll go back to that slide in just a moment. And then finally, we want all of our prospective transfer students to create a UC TAP account. The Transfer Admission Planner is an online resource or tool that helps our transfer students to stay on track. And that's extremely important for our transfer students because we want to help support them in every way possible. And I think if you could go back one slide, that would be extremely helpful. Thank you. So transfer admission requirements are different than the first year admission requirements. For transfer admission, we're not looking at a student's high school performance at all, nor are we even considering SAT or ACT scores, even though now they're optional. We're looking at three main factors. One is that a student is in junior standing. It doesn't mean you're in your third year at the community college. It means you've completed 60 UC transferable semester units by the end of spring term prior to fall admission. The second requirement is a competitive GPA, and that GPA changes. It ranges, I should say, from major to major. Some of our CAP majors, as Roberta mentioned, are a little bit more selective. The higher the GPA, the better the chances of gaining admission. For all of our other majors, students would really want to aim for at least a 3.0 GPA. Now, I'm not saying that a 3.0 guarantees admission, but it certainly would get the student toward becoming competitive toward those non-capped majors. And then finally, students definitely want to meet what we call the subject requirements. You may know of them as general breadth or the 7-course pattern. 2 English composition courses, 1 math, and 4 other from different areas. And of course, the admissions office will be happy to work with you to identify those courses and make sure you're taking the right courses. I do want to mention one final point. Major preparation is required for the majors listed in teal blue on the right. For those majors listed, many of which are actually CAP majors. Now, CAP majors are still open majors, but they're highly selective. For these majors, major preparation coursework must be completed at the community college so that students are well prepared to jump into their upper division courses once they get to UC San Diego. Keep in mind that lower division courses are the only kinds of courses you can take at a community college. The community college option is great for many different reasons, including cost savings and otherwise. So if you don't get admitted as a first-year freshman, or if you intentionally pursue the transfer pathway, this pathway is extremely viable toward admission. Next slides, please. And next slide. Financing your education. I'd like to speak about financing your education for just a moment. Financing the education is extremely important. You can see on this slide, this provides you with a sticker price of what it costs to go to UC San Diego. Tuition, housing, some of those costs can be, are variable depending on how thrifty you are, but the tuition remains the same for all of our students that are in California. Now, I do want to mention on the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about financial aid, and financial aid is critical. UC San Diego offers a number of financial aid packages to students, including our Blue and Gold program. There are 3 points that I want you to take away from this slide. One is the filing period for either the FAFSA or the California Dream application. Students would either apply for the FAFSA, or if the student is AB 540 eligible, they would actually submit the California Dream application. October 1st through March the 2nd. So if any of you that are joining us today are interested in applying for fall 2021, you want to make sure you get those in sooner rather than later, March 2nd being the deadline. The second point is that the Blue and Gold program is an opportunity for all of our California residents and eligible students. And the Blue and Gold program is UC San Diego's promise to help cover your tuition with either grant or scholarship money, provided you've met the deadlines for submitting the FAFSA for the California Dream application and your family income is less than $80,000 per year. That's what we call the Blue and Gold program. Now, students may qualify for additional financial aid to cover additional costs like housing and books and transportation. But the Blue and Gold program is an exceptional program for all of our students that qualify. And then finally, I do want to mention that 69% of our undergraduates receive some form of financial aid, and 59% receive some kind of need-based financial aid, and that's free money.
So of course, the next question to ask is, when is it time to apply? For students that are in their senior year, transfers that are ready to come in for fall of 2021, right now is the time to start your application if you haven't done so already. But you will not be able to submit the application until November 1st, which is just a few days from now. You'll have the entire month of November to submit your application, and come November 30th will be the last day to be able to submit it for fall 2021. Students will be notified about their admission mid-March. And will be able to make a decision, and must make a decision, as to where they're going to accept their offer by May 1st. This is a great slide to take a picture of if you have your devices. We do have another program coming up, Fall Showcase, which is a huge open house, kind of like virtually, that we're going to have for students that are interested in UC San Diego across all the different disciplines. We also have Triton Talks all the way through the fall. And if you're interested, admissions.ucsd.edu/events will provide you all that information on the events that we have, like the virtual tours that are coming up the 23rd and 24th and 25th of November. Remember that we do have academic advising, or virtual advising more like it, that you can also access, that you can get one-on-one with an admissions officer, as well as if any updates that you might want to get. Since you registered for this program, you're automatically going to be getting those updates. And if you receive this and didn't register, then this is a good link to go to be added to our contact list. If you do have any questions moving forward, please contact admissions reply at ucsd.edu for any questions that you might have. Thank you. And I return the mic back to Elena.
All right, I'm here. I just had to remember to unmute myself too. Well, thank you so very much to Roberta and to Tim. Just making sure, can my crew confirm for me that y'all see the PowerPoint up there?
Yes.
All right, wonderful. So this is where we left off. So I want to say again, thank you to Roberta and to Tim. We are going to move on to the next part of our presentation now, and talk a little bit about some things that are more specific to the Native American community. At UC San Diego, we are proud to have an Intertribal Resource Center. This is a resource that is not available at all campuses. And the Intertribal Resource Center has been up and running at UC San Diego for 4 years, a little over 4 years now. And it's, as Corinne will share with you in a little bit, it has seen some really great growth. The picture that you're looking at here is at one of our welcome dinners when we used to be on campus, and we will be again. But this is one of the pictures of our gathering. And we had, the first time I ever went to one of these welcome dinners, I think there was about 10 folks, and that included, you know, people's children and people's significant others and all of that. And now we have, 30, almost 40 folks that join us during the welcome dinner, which is not all of our Native population, but it's a good number. And yeah, so we're just going to go and tell you a little bit more about the center, and then you'll have an opportunity to meet some of our wonderful students. Corinne?
Tanake, my name is Corinne Hensley Delafield. I belong to the Catawba people of the Carolinas, and I'm the coordinator for the Intertribal Resource Center. So I would like to just go over a little snapshot of our Native American campus community. So like Elena said, we have grown exponentially with our welcome dinner. And the picture that you see here on the slide is not this past September, but the September before Native American Heritage Night Padres game. And we had been doing it for about 3 years at that point. The first year there was about 3 participants, and that year we had 30. And that we see that in all of our programs. We have just grown exponentially. We also have students that come from all over Indian country. We have students who come from reservations, who are urban Indians, who are local, who are across the country. So it does not matter what your background is. If you come from a traditional background or you're just learning about your Native identity, we accept everybody. We also have new faculty members, Native American faculty members. Few were hired last year in ethnic studies and education studies. And ethnic studies has also just approved the creation of a Native American and Indigenous Studies minor and PhD concentration. I will turn it back to Elena.
Wonderful, thank you. So next what we're going to talk about is we're going to show you how some of the, or most of the specific programming and the initiatives that we have through the Intertribal Resource Center fall into 3 different categories. The first one is student development, which is our way of supporting academic life and health and well-being for our Native American students on campus. The second is campus engagement. So this is all the things that we do to share our Native American culture, politics, practices, histories, and also contemporary issues with the greater campus, or the rest of the campus, I should say. And then the third area is with community engagement. So as you may or may not know, San Diego County is home to 18 federally recognized tribal communities and reservations, which is the most for any county in the entire country. And as well, we have a significant urban Indian population. So there's a lot of Indians in town, and part of our responsibility, part of our role, and maybe our responsibility is to engage with the local tribal communities and to share our programs. And really our mission is to foster positive relationships and to increase access to the university. Corinne?
All right, so these are a few of the programs that we have with our students. Now, this is just a quick snapshot again of what we do. These are only a few of them. But these, we have our American Indian Writing Circle, which is an opportunity for students to work together on long-term writing projects. We do research and development. We help students submit papers for conferences, practice their presentations. We have a really excellent program that was started by a student, our culture and language table. And it's an opportunity for students to share or learn about other people's languages, stories, arts, whatever. So that is a student-led program. And we have our Native Graduates Honoring Ceremony, which is a smaller ceremony we have in the spring quarter where graduating students could come together with their families, their friends, other Native students on campus, and it's a more intimate environment to celebrate their achievements. And then we also have our midterm refuel and study jam, which is when we are on campus, we make our center open to all students. I mean, it's always open to all students anyways, but we try and make it a conducive environment for studying and preparing for finals and midterms. We have snacks, but right now with the in our virtual format, it's a little bit different. But Elena, could you go to the next slide? And this is a picture from the previous year's graduation ceremony. So you could see all of our graduating students receive a personalized stole that has their name and their tribal affiliation and these really cool beaded medallions that have the Triton trident beaded on it. So it's a like if you become involved with our center or in the Native organizations, which we'll talk about a little bit later, that's an opportunity for you to get one of these awesome medallions.
Great. Thank you, Corinne. Let's see. Next, we are looking at our campus engagement from the Intertribal Resource Center. So here is where we have a lot of different, sorry about that. So we have a lot of different activities that we do to engage our campus community. One of them is through the Native American Heritage Month, which we're getting ready for right now. It is every November, as you're probably familiar. And we start our Native American Heritage Month with a kickoff event, which if you want to write down the information is going to be next Friday, November 6th. We have Dr. Evan Adams, you might know better as Thomas Builds the Fire from Smoke Signals. He is our keynote speaker for that event. So we're really excited to welcome him to campus virtually. And we also have a Native comedian by the name of Jim Rule, who's going to be offering us some entertainment that day. So that's part of our Native American Heritage kickoff celebration. And then throughout the month, we have a series of lectures, workshops, cultural sharing, different types of events that are open to, they're open to the community, but we also like to target our campus community so that other folks can come and see the presence, the Native American presence that we have on campus. We also every year in collaboration with our Native American Student Alliance and the other Native student organizations host an annual powwow. It is in the spring, it's a Saturday in the spring. And so that we support the students in the coordination of this annual powwow, which is, like I said, the third Saturday in May. And we'd love for you to get involved in the planning. You know, if you're a new student and you've never planned a powwow before, this is a great opportunity to get involved and get started with that. You don't have to have ever coordinated a powwow before, or even if you've never been to a powwow before, this is a great learning opportunity. Another example of our community engagement is the Kumeyaay Garden. Now, this was a project that was initiated by some of our students in collaboration with other students at Muir College. And they were actually able to find, locate, and have a dedicated space on campus that would host indigenous plants and have information about the plants and their traditional uses that's on our campus. And right now there's a lot of construction going on, so that the garden that we have established is going to be relocated with a lot of care, with a lot of advising from the community. But the cool thing about that is that it's actually moving into an even bigger area. So we're really excited about that. Another form of our campus engagement is through various art projects. So UC San Diego is very forward thinking in the types of art that they produce and that's visible on campus. And so far as Native American communities go, one of the things that we're most proud of is in Peterson Hall, one of the major lecture halls on campus. It's home to our Kumeyaay photo exhibit. So you can go in there and you can see some old pictures. And then, you know, we've taken students back there on different campus visits, and people are actually able to find their relatives and things in that exhibit. And recently, last spring, we unveiled a brand new Kumeyaay mural from an artist from San Pasqual, Johnny Bear Contreras, which is featured, like I said, on the Muir College campus. And our new trolley station that's being built is also going to include some original Native artwork. And we have a couple of other different art projects that are in the work and in conversation. So those are just a couple of the ways that we are involved ourselves in campus engagement throughout the community.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about our community engagement. So all of our community engagement programs are opportunities for students to get involved with the community. We have campus visits, and this is where students from high school organizations come to UCSD to learn more about applying and attending, and opportunity to meet other Native students, faculty, and staff. We have a really great program called I'm Going to College, and this is where we go into fourth grade classrooms and it gives them an opportunity to learn what it's like to apply to college. to get accepted, to get their financial aid, their class schedule and books, as well as attending class. They do come onto campus to have their first day of class. And we also have students who help run mock classes. And previously we had a mock science lab where the fourth graders got to do experiments. We do a lot of outreach. We're taking at every powwow, college fair, community event we can get to. And we have our Native American Family Night, and this is an opportunity for Native students to come together. And this is intentional community building. So in our virtual world, the last couple of times we've played Native Jeopardy. We also have our welcome dinner, which is, we mentioned that before, but it's an opportunity for students, incoming students, to meet existing students, faculty, and staff. And we've also been given the green light to work on an official land acknowledgement with community members for UC San Diego.
All right. Next up, we're really excited to share with you the fact that UC San Diego hosts 4 different Native American student organizations. 4 years ago, when I started at UC San Diego, there was 1. So it's really exciting to see this kind of growth. There are student organizations like NASA, which is specifically for our undergraduate students. And then we also have AGSA, which is specifically for our graduate students. ACES, the American Indian Science and Engineering Society, is open to both undergrad and grad, and you don't have to be a STEM student specifically to join ACES. When I was an undergrad myself, I majored in Native American Studies and Education, but I was also a member of ACES. And to tell you the truth, it was primarily so I could go on all those conferences and hang out with my friends. And, and I did learn a thing or two, but so you are welcome to get involved with ACES if you're a STEM major. Also, if you're not a STEM major, it's fine. And most recently, we were able to introduce the Association of Native American Medical School Students. We have a strong cohort. In fact, this year we admitted more Native American medical students. This year, I believe we admitted 4 or 5, which is the highest class that we have ever admitted at UC San Diego. So that's really exciting, and to be able to see that kind of support for a student organization is really phenomenal. We have a message from our Native Americans, or one of our Native American Student Alliance chairpersons, and I'd like to share that with you. And just bear with me because I will fumble through the transitions here, but I'm going to introduce you to Mariah.
Hi, I'm Mariah Hayes. I'm one of the co-chairs for NASA, which is Native American Student Alliance. We are an undergraduate student organization dedicated to building a community where, Indigenous students feel really supported. We essentially create a space where Native students can come together and
All right. All right, are we back? Can you see the presentation again? Somebody tell me yes or no. I'm going to keep going then. I think we're good. So I'm going to move on. Next, I want to introduce to you one of our current Native American undergraduate students. Her name is Victoria Robles, and I'm going to have her introduce herself to you and tell you a little bit about life as a current UC San Diego native Triton.
Thank you so much, Elena. Glad to be here. Hello, everyone. My name is Victoria Robles. I am from the Comanche tribe from Oklahoma, Lawton, Oklahoma, and I am from Muir College. I'm a second year, and I am majoring in economics or management science. And I am originally from Chino Hills, but I did grow up in Fort Cobb, Oklahoma, which is an extremely small town. Really glad to be here. Really glad to see all of you. I hope everyone's doing well during this time. So I'll just get right into it. So I chose UCSD because, one, its representation of the Native American community was an extreme, good factor that pushed me towards choosing the school. I know that Elena and Corinne and everyone has worked so hard to make the Native American community on this campus be recognized. And I definitely noticed that when I first applied here. And what I like best about UCSD is I definitely love the location. It's in La Jolla, it's in a literal gem here. And also, sorry, I'm at work right now too, so multitasking. But yes, I do love the location, and it's right next to the beach, and also its connection to the Kamehameha lands too always has that connection to the Native American community here, which is awesome. And also it's, oh, my sound is going in and out. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm connected to the Wi-Fi here, so I'm sorry. I'll just talk a little slower. Can everyone still hear me? Is that okay? Okay, I'll just keep going. Okay, awesome. I'm getting yes, you can hear me. I'll just talk a little slower. So yeah, so I like the location and I love all the resources on this campus. There's an unlimited supply of academic resources on this campus that have been extremely helpful. Speaking of resources, how can you become involved at UCSD as a Native American student? So to be involved, what I did is I literally just visited the Intertribal Resource Center like a few times, and I met Elena and Corinne. And yeah, they introduced me to the different orgs, the Native American orgs, like such as NASA. That's one that I'm starting to get involved in, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, so you can definitely just visit the Resource Center and you'll meet so many people, so many other Native students there, and you can just make connections. Before COVID started, I ended up like helping plan out a powwow, and I had barely started visiting, and they just plugged me right in. So if you visit the ITRC or attend some of the virtual meetings, then they will definitely plug you in so quickly, and honestly more than you could ever ask for. So yeah, so something really important about being involved here in the Native community is just that you see other people that you can actually relate to, and it's just so different actually having another Native friend, because you're usually the first Native American like everyone has met before, but here at UCSD you can actually see and find other Native American people and that are open to sharing their cultures and expressing their different values. So it's just really awesome to get plugged into that. It's very meaningful too. Yeah, so something about the college system. So a lot of you know that we have 6 college system, or now 7, crazy. It does get a little confusing at times, but once you're plugged into your own college, I highly recommend getting involved in the committees at your college and just getting plugged in with the events there, because you'll meet so many people and make so many networking connections that are really valuable. Okay, so next, student housing. Student housing is, depending on where you are, each college is very different. I'm from Muir and I was very lucky with Muir. So Muir housing, I can speak for that, is really good. It's very spacious, right next to the beach, literally a walk away from a nice trail to Black's Beach. And dining dollars and all that HCH housing stuff. Just make sure you don't eat all of the dining hall food every single day, because you will gain a lot of weight like me. So highly recommend grocery shopping on your own, but not just relying on the dining hall food completely. Yeah, so something I wish I knew before coming to UCSC is probably that to be more open, I guess. I was very reserved coming into UCSD, so I wish I knew that after like the first few months of being a first year, I wish I knew that I had to be more forward and more pursuing of connections, because at UCSC, you really do have to put yourself out there to find the resources that you need. They're there, they're definitely there, and the communities are there, and they're more than happy to help you. But you definitely have to be more extroverted. I was introverted, so coming in, it was a little difficult, but that is probably my best advice that I could give to incoming students, to be more bold and more pursuing, I guess. Yeah. just so if you want to find a resource, if you want to make friends or any connections, definitely put yourself out there and definitely pursue what you want to do at the school, and you will definitely get the most out of it. You most definitely will. Yeah, another hardship that I did experience was also homesickness. I feel like, especially now because of COVID, I was with my family for so long, and it was pretty hard moving to San Diego from Chino Hills because it is about 2 hours away. So it's not extremely far, but it is far enough. So as far as dealing with homesickness and just missing your family and friends from home, I highly recommend to call them as often as you possibly can. Yeah, because life does get really busy here and you do get caught up in all the awesome things at UCSD. So I'd highly recommend to give your family a call every now and then. But yeah, so to sum things up on this little panel, because I know my time is running out, um, just to don't be afraid to put yourself out there and enjoy it and join a community here, because there are so many communities. I know the Native American community here is really, really good. So I highly recommend joining and putting yourself out there. Thank you so much.
That was wonderful. Thank you very much, Victoria. I appreciate your sharing your words of wisdom with us. Next up, we are going to invite another one of our current Native undergraduate students, Brenna, and she's specifically going to talk about one of the programs that we have at UC San Diego that is unique to our campus. It's called the CASP program, and CASP stands for the Chancellor's Associates Scholars Program, and it is a scholarship program that is open. It's open to a couple of different folks, but the part that's important to us is the fact that it is open to any Native American student who is a member of an enrolled member of a federally recognized tribe and is a California resident. So, and then obviously is accepted to UC San Diego. So if you meet those three criteria, you are eligible for the CASP scholarship. And we're going to talk, I'm going to have Brenna tell you a little bit more about what that program is like, because it's not just about the money, it's a really solid program at our campus. And I was just informed that the video that I shared about NASA, when I muted myself, it also muted the video. But like I said at the beginning of the presentation, we're gonna mess things up because it's Zoom and we're human. So I apologize for that. But Brenna has also been a very active member of our NASA organization. And so Brenna, I'm kind of throwing this on you at the last second, but if you wouldn't mind just sharing a few words about what NASA does and how to get involved and things like that. So next up is Miss Brenna Deasy, and she is going to talk about CASP and a little bit about NASA.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brenna. I am from Oceanside, California, which is just North County, San Diego. I'm from Muir College. I'm affiliated with the Navajo Nation, and I am majoring in human health psychology with a minor in general biology on a pre-physical therapy track. It's a mouthful, but yes. Okay. So about NASA, I currently this year am the vice chair for NASA. Mariah, in the video that Elena had showed us, she is one of our co-chairs for this year. And to second what she said before the audio cut off, NASA is just like an organization to come together for Native students to engage with one another, to build community on campus. Since we are such a small population, being able to have this time to come together and get to know each other and have this strong bond with each other is just one of our biggest goals, just because we want everyone to feel welcome and like they belong. Yeah, and through NASA, we do like events. We have our general body meetings every other week during all the quarters. And we can play games. Sometimes we watch movies. Sometimes we'll have guest speakers come in from local organizations and stuff. It's honestly an amazing org. I love everyone so much. I have grown so much personally just getting to know everyone, and within my Native identity myself. I wouldn't trade it for the world being a part of this organization. But to go on to CASP. So like Elena said, CASP is the Chancellor's Associate Scholarship Program, and you have to meet those criteria that she had said earlier. I'm a CASP student. I'm so incredibly grateful for this program because, yes, of course, it's amazing having the scholarship money, but the support and resources that you get from being a part of this program is absolutely outstanding. They have study jams all the time as well. They plug you into resources around campus, whether it be like student health related or getting onto some of the more like the other resource centers, because we have a bunch of resource centers on campus. It's honestly so amazing, and you get in your first year you get a peer mentor who works with CASP, and they work to help enhance your first year's experience, regardless if you're a transfer first year or a freshman first year. You come in, you get a mentor, and they help you through any problems you might be having, whether it be like class related, resource related, just someone to talk to so you feel more connected with the campus and within CASP. The staff at CASP, at the CASP office, they are amazing. They're the sweetest people. They're always there to help for anything that they can. They're amazing. CASP is a great opportunity, and honestly, it was one of the major reasons why I chose to come to UC San Diego, just because that little bit of like security, knowing that I wouldn't have to worry so much about like financial situation, but also having the other like resources available to me to help me get the most out of my college experience was extremely important and a valuable tool that I am so grateful to have. If we're going to go a bit off like the other questions that Victoria's had answered as well, I second everything that she said. I've had an overall amazing experience here. I'm from your college as well, so the housing is like the same as what she said, so yeah, it does vary per college a little bit. But honestly, I am so grateful to be here at UC San Diego. I have met the most amazing people, whether it be like my people from my dorm who I'm still friends with and live with now, we're in our third year now. And then Native community on campus. It's just absolutely amazing. I have met the best people, and I've had the best time here in my going into my third year, which is hard to believe at this point. And as a representative of NASA, I always want to plug our organization. We are a small but mighty group of Native students on campus, and we're welcome. Everyone's welcome to come to our GBMs and events, but we do focus on Native students, like I had said before. And it's an amazing group of people. I love them dearly, and I just can't wait to see what we do in this next year.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much, Brenna. I really appreciate that. And one of the things that Brenna reminded me of is because she was talking about CASP as a resource at UC San Diego. One of the things I also wanted to mention is that the Intertribal Resource Center itself is actually part of a family of resource centers and programs. So we are in the same unit as our LGBTQ Resource Center, the Women's Center, the Black Resource Center, Raza Resource Centro, Apameda program. And I always like, who's the last one? And I think it's us, the Intertribal Resource Center. I think that was all of our 6 programs and centers. And the reason I mention that is because the work that we do through all of our community resource centers is very intersectional. So when you come to campus, there's a lot of places for you to belong. And, you know, we hope that you come and meet us at the Intertribal Resource Center, but you also have those other resources and community places on campus that you can call home. And we all work together, build programs together, and share these spaces for all of our students. All right, next up, We know that you've been sitting on your booties for a while, and it's time to get up and just get the blood flowing a little bit. So I'm going to introduce you to one of our PhD candidates in theater and dance. His name is Sam Mitchell, and he's going to move us or take us through a short movement break. And again, this is just kind of get the blood flowing and feeling good. So we can't see you, but we trust that you are getting off of your chair and moving around as Sam leads us through these exercises. Sam?
Thank you, Elena. Can everyone hear me? Cool. I'm assuming you can hear me, right? Yes. Yep. Okay, cool. All right. So this is just a quick little 2-minute warm-up, or not even warm-up, it's just a little physical exercise. My name is Sam Aros Mitchell. I'm a 6-year PhD student in the Department of Theater and Dance at Revelle College. I'm writing my dissertation right now about Indigenous choreographers and artists. So that is primarily what I'm looking at. I'm really looking at the Indigenous body as a site of knowledge. So this exercise actually, what we're going to do, I'm going to demonstrate it. You're going to find any object. Hopefully it's not something breakable. So I have this little bracelet here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it on the floor. And then I'm going to slowly pick it up. So, and I mean slowly. And I'll keep time as we do this. So it should probably take about a minute for you to do this. And you're going to slowly retrieve that object and then bring it back up. And then the next part I'll kind of talk you through is just closing your eyes and trying to remember every single thing, every sensation, every sound that you heard, every muscle that you needed to engage with, just the light in the room. So you're going to really try to open up your senses. You're going to really want to listen to everything that's happening around you and be really super aware of your environment as you do this. And it's just a way of kind of, I guess, focusing. Okay. And just to let you know, I got this exercise. I've been teaching movement and things like that. It's from a guy named Augusto Boal. And so it's from a book called Games for Actors and Non-Actors. And so I always like to tell who my teachers are, even in books that I'm reading. And I've been teaching this exercise as a way of kind of sharing my love of movement with whether it's working with elders and tribes or youth. So here we go. I'm going to start my timer. I should have started a second ago, but so I hope you have your object, and now you are going to drop it, and you're going to slowly begin to retrieve it. The rules are you cannot stop, so you have to keep going forward, keep moving. And as you do this, you want to listen to every single thing around you. Good. Now, what I'd like for you to do is just close your eyes for a second and try to remember the moment when you drop that object. Try to remember every single detail with your eyes closed. The moment that you dropped it and you began to retrieve that object very, very slowly, did you start bending your right leg, your left leg? Could you hear sounds around you, outside, in your house, wherever you're at? What did the air feel like in the room? So these are things that you want to consider and remember. that ends my time with you. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much, Sam. Really appreciated that. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I can attest that the first sound I heard was my spine going cracking as I tried to bend down, but it felt good. So I really appreciate you spending your time with us, Sam. Thank you. So we're going to move on. We have 2 more pieces that we want to share with you, and then we'll open it up to Q&A. The next part is that we have one of our Native faculty members, Dr. Teresa Ambo. She couldn't be with us here today, but she did put together a short video that we want to share with you. I will not mute myself this time, so you can actually hear everything she has to say, but please bear with me for just a second while I bring the video up.
Hi everyone, my name is Teresa Ambo, and I hope this message finds you all healthy and well and with lifted spirits during this very unprecedented time. I was asked to share a little bit about Native faculty at UC San Diego and faculty life. And I want to first share a little bit about myself and what I do, and talk about our growing community on campus. So as I said, my name is Teresa Ambo, and I am Tongva, Luceño, and Tohono-O'odham. My tribal communities are indigenous to the LA Basin, Northern San Diego County region, and Southern Arizona. Before coming to UC San Diego, I was at UCLA for all of my degrees, and the reason being that I didn't want to ever leave my homelands and the place that I knew to be the home of my ancestors and my family and my home for generations. But everyone has to grow up at some point in time. And so in 2017, when I finished my doctorate at UCLA, I decided to come to UC San Diego. And I was really fortunate to have a postdoc here where I was able to conduct research. And then I secured a faculty position in 2019. And I just finished my first year as a professor at UC San Diego. The year that I entered as faculty, I also entered in with 3 other Native faculty, Professor Keolu Fox, Professor Sarah Ahrens, and Professor Andrew Jolivet. And so there's several of us Native faculty at UC San Diego, and we're hoping to bring more to campus, but also really eager and excited to welcome and invite potential students to our campus. As a faculty, our job is primarily to conduct research, to teach, and to serve the local community. And so that is really the heart of all the work that I do. My research is focused on the relationships that the university has with local Native nations. As a teacher, I teach decolonizing research methodologies, and I also teach about higher education history. I teach undergraduate students undergraduate research methods as well. And then with regard to service, I'm always doing my best, and I could always be better, finding ways that I could connect my work, my efforts, everything that I do to the local Kumeyaay community and Luceño community that are located in San Diego County. And so that's primarily what I do as a professor. As I said, we have a growing Native faculty community on campus, and we're so excited to welcome new students and bring them in to take classes with us, conduct research with us. There's a lot of opportunities to engage with Native faculty, whether it's socially at a program through the Intertribal Resource Center, whether it's on a mentorship level, doing undergraduate research. We are really eager and excited to provide opportunities to other Native students that were provided to us at different points in our trajectory. And so this is all to say, we're really thrilled at the idea of you thinking about attending UC San Diego and putting it on your list of options. We want you to know that Native faculty are here to support you on campus when you do get here, and to provide you opportunities that are not only beneficial to you and what you want to do professionally, but also opportunities that will help you develop a skill set that you can take back to the Native community, whether it's your family, the urban Native community or your reservation community. That's really important to us. And then, of course, we just want to have fun along the way. School is really about learning and growing and having wonderful experiences. And so we want to learn, have fun, and grow with you while you're growing too. And we're young and we're still learning a lot. We're not perfect. So if you ever have any questions about UC San Diego, please feel free to reach out to me or any other Native faculty that I named. We would really love to meet you, talk with you, and learn more about you and how we could better support you when hopefully you do come to UC San Diego. So hope you all are doing well. And again, take really good care of yourselves and hope to see you all soon.
All right. All right, sorry, so figure out the Zoom. So that was Dr. Teresa Ambo, one of our new faculty members. And she mentioned the 4 that had come in with her the year that she started, but there are also a couple of other Native faculty on campus. So we can always, advocate for more, but know that if you or somebody you're supporting or advocating for is concerned about the presence of Native faculty on our campus, know that they are there and they are supportive and they are very involved with our students. And so that's a very positive thing. The next thing, and we're kind of rounding the corner now. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, feel free to drop those into our Q&A. But right now, I want to introduce you to Leo Almero. He is one of our most recent Native alum, graduated in the class of 2020. And he is going to tell you a little bit about his perspective as an alum and also his experience as a Native Triton. Leo?
Hello, everyone. I just want to shout out to Brianna and Victoria that I agree 1000% with everything you said, and I definitely want to echo it and what I'm going to say. And then I also wanted to shout out to Sam. Definitely in these busy and crazy times, it's great to definitely take a moment. I know the first sounds I heard when I was going back up was I just did a leg day kind of thing, so my legs were yelling at me. But it is always good to in college to think of your wellness and your health and everything like that. And so Bazo, hello everyone. My name is Leonard Almero, and I'm a member of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. My hometown is Anaheim, and so yes, I can definitely see fireworks go off at 9:30 every night from my house. Well, when Disneyland was open. I did just recently graduate, like Elena had said, from UCSD with a bachelor's in biochemistry and cell biology. And my college was John Muir. And actually, I noticed that a student asked about the colleges, and I know that Roberta sent a link, but I know one of your questions kind of asked whether, one is better than the other. Hopefully, if you've seen Harry Potter, if you think of it that way with the different houses, that's essentially kind of what the different colleges are. It's not necessarily one's better than the other or one's more sought after. It's more, what's going to help you get to where you need to go, and what philosophy fits you. And so definitely check out that website and rank it in. So essentially you are going to be the sorting hat in this case. But essentially what I love about UCSD the most is, of course, the beach. It's right there. But it's also really the memories and the many meaningful friendships and bonds with mentors that I've made. So looking back as an alum, I believe in my heart and in my spirit that UCSD really gave me the support and opportunity to do things that I could never have done at other schools. And so something I'd really like to share with you all about my experience is that it's really important to pick a school where you're going to find a sense of community support on campus. And so having a space where you can feel support is important for your success, but it's actually really important also when you have failures, which I definitely did throughout my undergraduate career. And so whenever, I was like in a rut or, after a tough exam, or maybe I had a ruined experiment, or if I was feeling down, or even there was actually sometimes that I felt that I didn't belong. It's important to have those heroes. And by heroes, I mean friends and mentors that are going to say, hey, everything's going to be okay. You do belong here. Your dreams are valid and you are making a difference. And so something that I really wish I knew actually before attending UCSD was actually knowing how important the Intertribal Resource Center was going to become for me. It was essentially a second home. What was great too is that I made a lot of amazing friends, and I met a lot of people there. And throughout, as an undergrad, of course, I was busy with my studies. I actually was really big into research, and I was volunteering in a cardiology lab, which I will say UCSD has a lot of. If you're really interested in doing research, they have all types. But even though I was always kind of busy, I always did feel connected to my heritage by visiting my friends and their beautiful, wonderful faces at the Intertribal Resource Center. And so if you want to get involved, and I definitely recommend that you do, they have many wonderful events, opportunities, and as you saw, the different Native organizations that you can join. And literally, they just let you be yourself, and you can feel connected. And so I would even say, really, just go to one of the fun game nights so that you can meet some people and talk. Now, as a transfer student, when I was new to campus, I was actually really nervous to introduce myself. But knowing what I do now, I really wish I would have stepped into the Intertribal Resource Center a lot sooner. They're very warm and welcoming, and it's just really easy to talk to and share stories with and things like that. So to kind of wrap it up, college definitely was tough. It was scary. It's also very, exciting being away from home and being away from family. But, you go to, during college, but, the reason you go to college like UCSD, it's not only just to earn a degree, but it's to form bonds, and it's to make those meaningful connections and have an experience that you wouldn't have anywhere else.
All right. Thank you so much, Leo, for sharing it. Appreciate your words. And I wish especially all of our current Native students, well, we can share this video with them, but I know that there's a lot of other Native students who haven't come and visited us yet at the Intertribal Resource Center for whatever reasons, but it definitely is the place to be if you want to meet more Native students and staff and faculty. So we are working really hard to create this home away from home environment for you. So we hope that you come and visit us. So we have rounded the corner. That is all of our presentations for the day. I actually don't have access to the Q&A. So if there are any Q&A, can somebody, or Q's, can somebody let me know? Anybody else on our panel? And if there are no questions, that's okay too. We hope that you have enjoyed the presentation, and we sent a lot of information right and at you. But a couple of reminders that I would want to leave you with today is, number one, most of our events are open to the community, especially right now during when we've converted all of our programs and events to the virtual platform. And if you visit our website at the itrc.ucsd.edu. If you visit our website there, you will get a link to all of our programs, virtual programs, all the links and things you can join us. You can join us for the family game night and all of that. So definitely want to invite you to that. I also want to remind you that, or let you know if you're not aware, that in a couple of weeks, we have a program called UC Native Insights coming up. Now, this is specifically for students who are ready to apply to the University of California. And even if it's not to UC San Diego, of course, we want it to be UC San Diego. But if you are interested in applying to any of the UC campuses, and you are going to be, you know somebody who's going to be a first-year student or a transfer student, this UC Insights program, Native Insights program, is going to give that applicant some tips and pointers and some strategies for completing the best application, particularly focused on the personal insights questions. So it's an opportunity for those applicants to receive some feedback and some support in writing that application. So definitely make sure that you tune in for that. We will have information on our website, also on our social media. We have a Facebook page and Instagram and a Twitter, but I don't know if anybody's actually monitoring our Twitter right now, but definitely on Facebook and Instagram, you can find information about all of our programs. And last but not least, another reminder that our kickoff event for Native American Heritage Celebration is next Friday on November 6th, and you are all invited and welcome to join us. Again, our keynote speaker is going to be Dr. Evan Adams of Smoke Signals, and we will have a Native comedian there to make us all laugh. At least that's what he's getting paid for. So we hope that you can join us for that, and we'll have registration links again, like I said, on our social media and on our website. And with that, I think we will let you go for the evening. Thank you all very much for joining us. We look forward to meeting you again, whether it's virtually or when we can, when it's safe, to meet you in person. And last thing is, I just want to say a huge thank you and express my gratitude and appreciation for all the folks that made this Triton Talk possible. Our friends in the admissions office, Roberta Camarena and Tim Borch, thank you for helping us to organize this and bringing such vital information to our community. And Corinne Hensley Delfield, my trusty sidekick in the Intertribal Resource Center, and then all of our students who volunteered to come spend the afternoon with us, Victoria and Brenna and Sam and Teresa and Leo. I thank you so much for being here. And then also to Dr. Teresa Ambo for sharing her video with us. And so with that, we will let you go. Please take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.